Oops, a bit low. How you doing? Okay. I think that's probably a little bit too simplistic a way of looking at it. I mean, we knew we'd be under some pressure from them because they are very good at what they do. We tried to prepare the players as best we could for what would be coming their way. Unfortunately, the cross was something we were very aware of, and the danger from that cross, but we didn't defend that well enough, and we go a goal down because, strange enough, up to that time we'd actually defended very well and not really conceded many chances at all. But in my opinion, we did a good job keeping Liverpool at bay. I thought that we made life very difficult for them. They didn't find it easy to cut through us. They weren't peppering our goal with shots. Our goalkeeper wasn't needing to make save after save. And on occasions, we created some occasions of our own. But if you want to get a result up here, you're quite right. If you want to get a result up here, we'd have needed one of the two very clear chances, the one with Kuska and the one with João Pedro. You need them to go in, really, because if they don't, there's not going to be an amazing amount of chances coming your way afterwards. You have to fight so hard for them. That's why they're top of the league. I've been taking heart from the performances for a while now. Even the two games we lost heavily, we didn't deserve to lose them heavily, and we were very much in those games as well. More so than today, of course. You don't expect to be 50-50 with Liverpool when you come up here. Man City might, and a few other teams, but even some of the teams just below Liverpool have to accept that the way they do what they do is hard to deal with. But I think it's going to be very important for the players to not forget that they're capable of doing what they did today. But they've really got to understand too that we're going to have to get out and do this again. And sometimes it's difficult after you've done something well, or you think you've done it well, but you still haven't got a result. You want the next game to be easier. You don't want to work quite so hard. You don't want to have to do quite so much running, quite so much, desperate defending in around your penalty area. Not quite so many runs to chase balls which maybe don't land at your feet. We've got to understand that what we did today and the way the team played today, that is our only chance of survival. And hopefully we won't be playing teams of Liverpool's quality every week, where we might get a bit more joy from the attacking moments we had.
So 1-0, Roy. We're getting a bit jittery as it was coming towards the end. What did you make of the penalty decision? Because you're still in the game that point.
Yeah. It's the only sad moment for me today. VAR's done a lot of very good things, since it's been instituted in English football, and this year I think better than last year. But I still find it very hard to accept that when a situation happens which literally nobody, the referee didn't see a penalty, Jurgen didn't see, he's asking me what's happening, I'm saying to him, I don't know, what is it? Not one Liverpool player complained about having been fouled, but then suddenly the game to be stopped in the 88th minute, and then being given the chance to seal it 2-0, it leaves a rather unpleasant taste in the mouth. But whether or not we'd have got back, that's another matter. I'm not certain we would have peppered their goal and created another 3 or 4 chances, but there was a possibility we would get a chance and could take it, so that just totally dismissed that. And what's more, I think it opened us up to a goal or 2 more. And that would have been harsh, because 2-0 is pretty harsh, I think. Had we lost it 4-0 with 2 goals in injury time, that would have been really harsh indeed. But that's what the penalty did. Now, I don't know whether people outside of the coaching fraternity understand that. You know, when you look and say, well, it's only a goal, what's the problem? The problem is that everything your players have worked for and they're feeling quite good about, they can come in and say, well, we lost, but we played 0-0 second half and we even had a chance or two. All of a sudden they can't do that. And if it goes to 4-0, not only can they not do that, 3 days from the game, at the moment, you're analysing the game in the same way I would. But at my next press conference, it would be, well, you were smashed up at Anfield, how are you going to come back in this game? And that's what those decisions do. The biggest myth in football that I've ever come across is that refereeing decisions don't change games. Everyone I know in football thinks they do.
Well, you had a long handshake with Stuart Armstrong at full time. You held on for quite a long time, having a little bit of a chat with him. What did you say to him?
I'll let him answer that question. I wasn't criticising his refereeing performance in the game, that I can say. I don't think he refereed the game badly at all. What I had to say to him was on another matter. I talk too much anyway, so what's the point? You know, I'm not going to go.
How are the players reacting to Roy?
Yeah, probably similar to myself. Mixed feelings in a way. They weren't hopping around, oh, we were robbed, or, you know, what a terrible decision. They weren't doing that. They were more bemused, like me. What on earth's happening? You know, why did he give them that penalty? Why do we have to succumb to that? It was bemusement more than anything else. And I think that when I see them tomorrow, when they come in to get their warm down and we do a chance to work with the ones who didn't play, I think they'll actually be feeling reasonably good about themselves, knowing that we did on the field what we set out to do. You know, we've been working for a while together now, and in particular these last 2 or 3 weeks, you know, we've exacerbated the amount of work we're doing on our style of play, if you like, or the way we want to play. And I think they'll probably look and think, well, actually, we stuck to the task quite well, and we can see that if we keep doing this, maybe there will be some joy for us going forward. That's what I'd like to think. But it was a quiet dressing room. It wasn't people ranting and raving anyway. Not even me.
Were you, the first goal, Roy, you know, just came from a chance that Watford had. Were you possibly just caught a little out of position after having that chance at the other end and then moved straight forward? Or was that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I thought their counter-attacking play was excellent. I mean, we had four so corners in the first half and a couple of wide free kicks, and they weren't bad set plays. You know, they asked a serious question, but they were so quick to counter. And it seemed to me, especially in the first half, that we didn't get a lot of luck with ricochets. It seemed to me that ricochets always seemed to sort of bounce their way. Now that's partly because they back things up so well, but even with that, I thought we were a little bit unlucky on those areas. But the fact is, you've got to be a good team to play Liverpool at the moment. You've got, you know, you've not only got to have the discipline and the work rate and the desire and maybe even the tactical understanding that some of our players show today. You've got to have all that plus. And obviously we've got to keep working on the plus.
I know you thought the penalty was harsh, but were you maybe frustrated with Winchester for giving the referee that decision to make in the first place?
No. Because if I'm going to do that, every game I watch, I'll slow down every corner kick and I'll be blaming somebody in the game because it was a tussle. It wasn't a clear foul. It was a tussle, and probably you could end up arguing, well, who grabbed who first. But I know one thing: that the player who won the penalty, he just jumped up and got on with the game. He was trying to get involved in the next attack, so he obviously wasn't too bothered about penalty. I think players are good judges, better judges than you give them credit for. Now, I know there's people who cheat a bit and some people will go down and when they're not fouled. It does happen, but it happens less and less. And I think when you find 4 or 5 players who have been right around the incident, surrounding the referee and complaining quite as bitterly as that, often they're right. That's been my rule of thumb experience.
All right, guys.
Thank you very much.